I'm going to mute for a minute.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised. You are now entering the all-consuming realm of Shea's Paranormal Chat, where the things that are better left unsaid are actually said.
Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to Shea's Paranormal Chat. Paranormal podcasting done Shea's way. Tons of fun.
Dude, seriously?
A bit sarcastic.
Hashtag investigator, not hunter.
But always real.
Hashtag data, not evidence.
Don't get your panties in a twist.
Oh my god, really?
This is real, raw conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shea's Paranormal Chat. I believe this is episode 18 on this network, and I'm very happy to announce that not only do we have the beautiful Kelly McCarville tonight, we also have Sharla Hardin from Girls vs. Ghosts Media. We have a couple quick announcements here. And, here we go. This is me stalling because I'm trying to get back into chat. So, everybody knows that, here we are live on Spreaker, but I also like to announce that not only are we on Spreaker, but you can also find the replays on Spotify, YouTube, I forget the other one, Stitcher, and as of today, we are now on iHeartRadio. So, that is my ownerly job right there, and I am done. So, without further ado, here is Miss Kelly McCarville and Sharla Hardin. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, I'm really excited for this.
I've been looking forward to this all.
Me too. I still have my cough, guys, so please forgive me.
It's just lingering. Yeah, whatever is out there, it sticks around and it does not want to go away.
No, it doesn't. Nope. It's been months now. So, how you doing, Sharla? You all set up over there?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am happy now that we're live on air.
It always takes us a bit, but we get there eventually.
We do,
it's the craziest thing. No matter how prepared you are, every show, it's always that last 10 minutes is just pandemonium. I mean, I don't know if it's like that for you, but for us, it always is.
Oh, it is. Oh, it's a story of my life.
And we can have it planned out and everything down to the last detail, and then wham, somebody's internet goes out.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Kelly and I have been praying to the tech gods that my internet holds up. That way,
because we all know how much help I am if something goes wrong with tech.
Yeah, that's not your fault though. I never taught you how.
Oh, but I'm seriously like technology challenged. If
I can do it, anybody can do it. No lie, because
I don't know.
I'm telling you. We're gonna give a few shout outs here because our chatters here are very important to us, and they stand by us through all the shenanigans that we pull on them. So, and then we're gonna get into. I'm trying to watch to make sure she's all set over there.
Who, me? Are you looking for me?
No. I'm just making sure everything's all set, making sure. We have Miss Luna. We have Wolf. We have KPRS, which is Aaron. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Luna. Hey, Wolf. We have Kelly. We have Mama Pat. Let's see how far it's going to. We have Miss Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia. Thanks for coming back. And, of course, first in chat, as always, is Kim.
She should get like an award. She is always first in chat. We're going to send Kim something. Remind me. Don't let me forget, because you also know my memory. So.
Oh, I know. We have Miss Jen B. We also have Matthew in the chat, and they're still coming in, so that's why we do it at the beginning and at the end, so we catch everybody. And if you're not listening live, you're really missing out because the chat is awesome, but we still appreciate you listening. So, Sharla, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
We're I'm happy to be here. I'm glad everything's going well so far. So
that's good. It's a good sign.
Friday, you can't beat it being Friday. It was a temperature that did not have a little negative mark in front of it today. Yay.
I think ours did, but not by much.
Did it?
No.
I think technically we did in the morning, but yeah, I was saying before we went live that we had like a 45-degree temperature swing from yesterday, day before, to today. So now we're like a whole 15 degrees above zero. Woo! Heat wave.
That's crazy.
It's so cold.
Yesterday was the first time I'm like, I think I need to buy a winter coat.
Yeah. You don't own a winter coat, really?
Oh, well, after the fire, it was like last on my list,
yeah.
And I made it through the winter without getting one, and then it wasn't really quite cold enough last year, but I don't smoke in the house. I go outside to smoke, and yesterday I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to smoke much today because it was that cold.
It was even just like opening the door to let the dog out. My nostrils started freezing together. It's like, this is crazy. I haven't even opened the door completely.
Yeah, my eyelashes froze a couple days ago. Not yesterday, but the last time. My eyelashes froze together, and I'm like, I could not open them.
That's crazy.
She's in Georgia. Look at her mouth, and it froze on her face like that. Right. So, okay, anybody? Not that I'm sure everybody knows who Sharla is, but just in case, Sharla is from Girls vs. Ghost Media, Blog Talk Radio. They have their own little network, and she's on VidiSpace, the same name, Girls vs. Ghosts. Why do I say so much?
It's just what we do.
Yeah, I don't know. So if you guys
I'm so much hyper aware of it now that we've been doing these podcasts, though, just how often I say I'm
doing a best of show for Sunday because it's a Super Bowl and the freaking Patriots are in the Super Bowl, so I'm not doing a show. So I'm doing a best of it. I'm like, I'm like, oh, stop it, Shea. Stop it.
It's hard. I mean, it really is because I was in a meeting the other day and I noticed it myself. Like I heard myself say it and then I became completely aware of it. And then I tried to make it stop.
And you said it more, right?
At the same time, I'm trying to continue the meeting and the presentation. And it was sometimes self-awareness is not a good thing.
No, because then you want to say but then you stop and you freeze and you either say it more or you're just like nothing.
Yes.
Well, and so for us here in the Midwest, and I never realized that we did this until I started seeing like the memes for it, but people will say, "Oop," around here. And we do. Like, I'll be, "Oop, I just got to get by you. Oops, excuse me. Oop, oop."
Oh, that's funny.
I've never heard
it. I have never noticed that we do it, but we do.
We say,
we do it.
Oops, oops.
Well, and oop. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I've heard that before.
Like, so now I pay attention. Yeah?
I think Beth does that. She's from Ohio.
Well, that's probably close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never noticed that we did it until I started seeing it. And now I'm like paying attention, and now I giggle at people when they do it, and it's a good time. Anyways.
This is, it's how it goes.
Right. So, Miss Sharla, do you want to tell us a little bit about girls versus ghosts? How did you guys, and I thought about this the other night. I don't know this. How did you and Beth come together?
Wow. One day this clouds parted, the planets aligned, and
magic happened.
Yeah. So it happened because of Chad Lindbergh. And it happened for me because of bears. I gotta rewind and go back a bit further.
Like real bears roar, or?
Yeah. So I was watching, I found this app called explore.org, and explore.org is an app that has, like animals in wildlife preserves and things like that. But they're live cams. And you can go in and you can watch these animals like go about their lives. And I've always been fascinated with the bears in Alaska, because you see the pictures of them like midstream catching a salmon, and they're, really cool. So they had the bears of Katmai National Park on there. And so I'm like, Katmai National Park, that's where the bears are. I go on and watch the bears, and I was just amazed. They were going to, like, Ranger Rick or whatever was going to give a live discussion about these bears. And I'm like, oh my God, I have so many questions. And he said you had to download this app called Periscope. So I'm like, okay. So I downloaded this app, and then I'm watching these bears, and then I was just like completely absorbed by the fact that people were live broadcasting. Like, they were live broadcasting themselves brushing their teeth, making dinner, driving to the store. And then I found Chad Lindbergh, who was broadcasting a live paranormal investigation. And it happened to be Beth was there at the event. She attended the event, and she got scratched. And I thought, oh my God, that poor girl. That's some serious stuff when you get scratched on an investigation. And somebody in the live chat said, go join the Badass Bitches. I don't know if I can say that if we're...
Oh, yeah, we're totally okay.
Oh, yeah.
They're marked explicit. If I'm on the show, it's marked explicit. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's always interesting to see which one of us drops it first. So go ahead.
So Roxy is the kind of the founder of the Badass Bitches, and it's this fan club for Chad Lindbergh. So I'm like, oh my God, all these girls are so cool. And he would broadcast, and we would all get on and chat, and it was just a lot of fun. It was like a girls' night out every single day. And then he had an event at Randolph County Infirmary in, what's the name of it? Winchester, Indiana. And so I went. It was called Face Your Fears. And Beth happened to go to. Shannon was there. Livy, Lana. I'm forgetting somebody. Anyway, so we all went, and we had an absolute blast. And the first time I saw Beth, I was so excited to see her because she and I had been messaging ever since she was scratched at the investigation. And I I was so excited, and I get really excited. I'm kind of hyper as it is anyway, but especially if I see somebody new for the first time, I may just knock them down with a hug. Because Kelly probably knows what I'm talking about.
I'm like, yeah, well, kind of, but it was okay.
I picture like Dirty Dancing, running and jumping, but yet it ends in a hug and on the floor. That's what I pictured when she said that. Like, two worlds colliding. Just like
it is.
We just rolled around and giggled for a little while.
That's so funny. It is. But I ran across the parking lot, and I think I had a luggage rack for them that I grabbed on the way. And, I just assaulted them both and gave them big hugs. And Beth tells the story later, and she's like, I look up, and there's this crazy woman running across the parking lot with a luggage rack. And so, that was it. That solidified our friendship. And from then on, we were BFFs, and she's great.
Had you had any paranormal experiences yourself before that?
Oh, yeah. Tons.
I don't know much about you before Girls vs. Ghosts, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I don't know the backstory on that side of it.
Yeah. So you want the earliest one?
If you want to share it, yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay. So I was very ill as a child. Just like for this one flu or whatever it was that I had, and my fever spiked. And when your fever spikes and you get a little delirious, a little loopy.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom and my dad were sitting on the side of my bed, and this was back like in the probably at this time it was the 70s, when they used to tell you to bring a fever down. You dipped a wet cloth into rubbing alcohol, and kind of like gave yourself a sponge thing over the head with this rubbing alcohol / water solution. It's supposed to bring your fever down. Of course, they tell you now that's like bad.
Yeah.
Like everything else.
Anything you did to your kids in the 70s is now bad.
Yeah.
We cannot do it to our children.
Yeah. Dirt is bad. Don't play in it.
Yeah.
Well, now you get like flesh-eating bacteria. We played in the nastiest creeks when I was little.
Right.
Crawdads hanging off our fingernails. It was. We never got anything. But I remember.
You know why? Not to interrupt you.
Why is that?
Because we did stuff like that. We played in the mud. We played in the swamp. We got germs on us, so our immune system, which now I have none, but at the time it built my immune system.
Yeah. Totally. I agree with you. There's got to be something to that.
That's my opinion. But go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's fine. So I remember looking in my parents' eyes, and you know how when you're little and you like kind of look, if there's a situation that you're not sure of, and you kind of look at an adult to see how they're reacting to gauge your reaction. Yeah. And I remember seeing that they were really concerned, and I knew that my fever was really high. Otherwise, they wouldn't be sitting there, staring at me like that. And I just kind of drifted off for a second, and I looked up into the corner of the room, and there was this most amazing, brilliant light just emanating from the corner of the room. And, it had like prisms in it, it was just, I can't even describe it. It was so beautiful and enveloping. And I kind of felt like when I saw that everything was going to be okay. And it's almost like I heard words like, just go to sleep, just relax, you're going to be fine. And that's the last thing I remember. And I kind of say I've been chasing that unicorn ever since. I know there was something there. I feel like it was something possibly angelic or a spirit guide or something. Kelly, you probably know what it is and can probably tell me. But, that just started the fascination. And I think after that, I learned to listen to things that I was being told and directions I was being, pointed into. And I think I just intuitively learned as a child to listen to spirit guides and higher powers. And I think the spiritual side of that developed for me much quicker, than the quote unquote paranormal. I didn't realize it was paranormal. It was just normal to me. and I would take off on my horse with a recorder. You know, one of those old 80s recorders, like the big buttons and, you know, it's huge.
Like the rectangle recorders, like the actual big,
with the cassette tape in them.
Yes.
Yeah. And I would take them. There was this old house down the road from us on a dirt road, and it was totally abandoned. And I'd just ride down there, and not a care in the world, I can't believe I wasn't afraid. Now I would be like, no, don't walk near there. You're going to die. But at the time, I just was fine with it.
We don't know any better.
Yeah.
At that age, we don't. There's no inhibition to stop us from.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. I'd go in and I'd press record on the buttons and just see if I could get anything. And I didn't realize that I was quote unquote paranormal investigating, and I never did until I saw the first show, whatever the first show was that I saw about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, people actually, this is me.
I'm doing something that other people are doing.
Like I'm not that weird.
So I don't know if you're in chat or not, Sharla, but I was going to share with you. There is a ton of chat tonight, by the way. So guys, I'm trying to keep up.
I'm even having trouble too, so don't
bear with me. But this is awesome. We love seeing all you guys in chat because this makes it fun. But Mama Pat said, oh my God, Sharla. And just so you know, we call her Mama Pat because that's my mom. That's my mommy.
And mine. She's my adopted mom.
She's now everybody's mom, but she birthed me, so.
I had no idea. Hi, Mama Pat. You have a wonderful daughter.
Thanks. She said, oh my God, Sharla, what you are describing is what I saw the night before my mom passed. I always thought it was the angels coming to get her. In your case, maybe something coming with reassurance.
Chills, hair raising on my arm.
Maybe it was reassurance from Mama Pat, too. Not coming to get her, but to reassure her that it's going to be okay, but this was happening.
That's amazing. It's so nice to hear that somebody else had that. It gives me goosies.
Yeah. I remember her telling me about that, and shortly before that, I remember, and I wasn't there for this either, I don't think. I can't remember now. I've heard the story so many times, I can't remember if I was there or if I've just heard it, but my grandma was kind of in and out of it before she passed away and wasn't always coherent, and she had a day where she was pretty with it, and she woke up, she slept a lot, and she woke up and she looked towards the door and she says, well, Peg. And she kind of gave a little nod, and she put her head back down and she went to sleep. Well, Peg's her sister who had died several years before her. And we think it was Peg coming to tell her it's your time, so.
That's amazing. Yeah. There's so many different tribes have different thought processes around that. But I've always heard that it was, the elders, that the elders would come, who had passed on, they would come and they would begin gathering around, hours before someone passed. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the process. I honestly believe that happens. If someone is passing, of natural causes, it's amazing. It really is.
I hope it's true. I don't know, but I hope that when we pass that there's somebody.
I think there's too many stories for it not to be true. And I think, because I always tell people, they ask if they have spirits around, and you do. You have the spirits that come and are around you when you need them. And Sharla, you were saying maybe I could tell you what had happened when you had that experience. The feeling that I got was like it was someone who was coming to look after you, someone who was coming to let you know that everything was going to be okay. The feeling that I got was more of like a grandma or even a great grandma, because she felt several steps above you. I don't know that you'd remember her, though. I just don't get the feeling like you had a lot of time with her, if any.
I knew all of my great-grandmothers except for my
Did you have
grandfather's mother. I didn't know her.
And this is Dad's side. I couldn't quite get, because I was doing it fast and trying to pay attention to this too, because, you see me when I'm listening, I go off someplace. Yeah. I couldn't tell if it was grandma or great grandma level, but
it probably was. If it was a great grandmother and it was the one that I didn't know, then it would be my dad's.
Your dad's grandma.
My dad's father's mother.
Yep.
I never knew her.
Yeah, and it was definitely your dad's side of the family. So, okay. Anyway, sorry. We can go on. And now we all just sit here. So, no, we're fine. We were all waiting for somebody else to talk.
I'm trying not to sneeze, to be honest. If you guys can see my face, them in chat can't. I'm trying so hard not to sneeze.
Oh, that's too funny. So what do you?
Go ahead.
So what do you guys got coming up? What are you guys working on recently? What?
Well, we just started working with this amazing radio show host, aka Moonspinner.
Oh, I've heard of her. She's pretty good.
I don't know. I heard she's kind of a bitch.
Well, that too. I heard that too.
No, she is not. She is awesome and amazing, and we are so lucky to be working with you on Girls versus Ghosts. You know, we had this idea. I had always wanted to. I don't know. You know, the whole Girls versus Ghosts thing, when it started, there was always a broader vision to it. You know, it wasn't just a podcast. It wasn't just whatever we were going to turn it into. It was something bigger than that. And, you know, we didn't really know what it was at the time. And I started to think about how we had struggled in the beginning, just starting our podcast, you know. We would get cut off in the middle of it. I'd lose Beth, she'd lose me. We'd be, you know, radio silent while the other one was trying to figure out how in the world to log back. It just was a lot of mistakes we made at the beginning, but we had a lot of help. Like, a lot of people stepped up and offered us advice and, you know, went out of their way, really. I mean, they didn't have to do that, but they helped us. They helped us get some great guests on, and we learned a lot of lessons along the way. And I had this vision that I just wanted to extend that to other people. And, you know, I talked it over with Beth, and she's like, yeah, 100%, let's do it. And it became kind of this quest to find women. I mean, it doesn't have to be women. You know, it could be women, men, and everything in between. But we just wanted to be able to pull somebody that had something to say and to help them get to a place where they could say it without having to invest a ton of money in equipment, in a platform, in a membership, in any of that stuff. You know, we wanted to be able to help jumpstart their shows in a forum where it was safe to do so, and where they weren't going to have producers that, you know, were going to say, okay, you made too many mistakes, we're dropping you. To help build them up, you know, because there's so many women out there that have so many important things to say, and they're just silenced so fast. And that just irks me to no avail. I hate it. And one of the only times I'll use the word hate is when I feel like, you know, women can't use their voice, and they can't step up and be badass and be independent. And if this is one way that I can help them accomplish that, then it's time well spent for me. So that's kind of how we started, extending the podcasts, and that's what we're going to continue to do for now. And you know, Beth had to have a pretty major surgery, so we took a break from Girls versus Ghosts on VidiSpace. We're working on the format. We're going to do some pre-recorded stuff as opposed to all the live stuff, just because all the problems that you have with going live, you know, it just was every night. It was a different stress.
Yeah.
You know how it is, Shea. Yeah. You know, and you feel like it's all your responsibility, and you know that if anything happens, you're going to let your guests down, you're going to let your viewers down, you're going to let your friends down. So you take a lot of that on your shoulders, and it's stressful and it's hard. So we are going to be, you know, focusing on doing a lot of pre-recorded stuff, mixing up the format a little bit, adding some more graphics, adding more interviews. It's just going to be a totally different format, and I hope everybody's going to like it.
I think so.
That's what we got going on.
Yeah, I do. No, I like the fact that you just said that, because I never heard you speak of the giving women a voice. And it's not just women, don't get me wrong. I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to focus on the woman part for right now. Because as a woman in this field, sometimes we're not treated equally. Sometimes we're not taken seriously. Sometimes people take us seriously until they hit on us, and then they, and I'm sure men have their own struggle, but I'm not a man. I can't speak to that. I can only speak I just know that women have a lot to say. They have just as much to say as men, and we should support each other instead of tearing each other down, period.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. That's my opinion. Excuse me.
Absolutely. And you know how hard it is to get started sometimes with podcasting. I mean, and you know how, do I buy this mic? Do I buy that mic? Do I buy this piece of equipment or that piece of equipment? And I don't know. If you get into it and you don't like it, it's an investment you've made, and now you're like really stuck with
exactly
and things. So I don't know. It's cool. We enjoy it. I love it. I love being able to do this, and the people that have come forward and have shows. I mean, obviously Kelly, and her show. It's last Wednesday night's episode was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I was completely
it really was
enthralled in everything that was being said, and I was literally walking through Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, listening to it in headphones, getting off a plane, pressing the platform,
saving my butt.
Yeah. And I don't even remember how I got from the plane to my car, because I was that wrapped up in what she's saying. Yeah. And Dr. Gina, she came out of thin air. I mean, what a blessing she's been. And watching her just blossom and seeing that voice that you knew was in there. And now she's just doing amazing things with it and helping people. I think that's the thing, that all these women that we're involved with right now are people who want to help people in some way or another. Heather and Faye, who are part of our team. Heather has her own thing, which is Omen 78130. But she does some work on the side for us for Girls versus Ghosts, and to us, she's part of the team. I
love Heather too.
Yes.
I gotta say.
And she'll help anybody do anything. Faye would give you the shirt off of her back, if you asked for it. Or sometimes even if you don't.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of group that I don't know. It's amazing. It really is. I can't say enough about it.
I got to meet Stephanie Hutnick last weekend, finally in person.
Oh, you did? Isn't she adorable?
She is. What is she? Monday, 7:30 Eastern. Yeah.
Monday, 7:30 Eastern. Yeah.
Mind's Eye. The Mind's Eye.
Mind's Eye. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. She was awesome to meet too. So, I like that show too. I listened to a lot of shows. I didn't start getting into the chat until the past couple weeks, but I listened to a lot of them. And then when I clean and do dishes, I listen to replays of a lot of different shows, different networks. But there's not too many shows that I haven't heard of you guys. So. Oh, look, Sharla's in chat.
I was going to say, hey, I know this gal that just got in here.
I know, I'm late to the party.
It's hard to do everything. You were still setting up when we went on, too. So that's,
Yeah, my internet went down moments before login time,
As it always is,
Yeah.
That last minute. That last minute thing.
Brian Gallagher said the best streams are women. Thanks, Brian.
Brian, the luck of the Irish, I always say. Whenever he's in there, I know it's going to be a good show because we have that Irish luck.
That's right. Hey, Matt. Hey, Brian.
We had Brandon jump into chat. He's going to be my next guest on Wednesday. Brandon Johnson with Twisted Realm.
Is that the Brandon?
That is the Brandon, yes.
PPS Brandon.
Well, I'm assuming, unless it's somebody who has the same name, in which case, sorry.
Yeah.
I suppose it could be. I mean, but chances are, I'm assuming it's the right one.
Oh, there's Sherry Ann. Hi, Sherry Ann.
There's quite a few people in chat.
Oh, we've got a ton of people in chat. So.
I love the chatters here because they're awesome, and they put in their 2 cents, good, bad, or indifferent, and we respect it all. And
yep,
they put up with my different opinions. So, you know.
So I don't know if you're comfortable answering this question since she's not on, but since Beth is the other half of Girls versus Ghosts, do you know how she got into the paranormal?
I know she's had experiences all her life. She had an incredible experience with, I believe it was either her great grandmother. But I will let her tell you that story because it's pretty amazing. I mean, she saw like a full body apparition at like the age of 4. You know, I mean, that's wow. Beth for you though. She kind of like me, you know, was kind of chasing that ever since. And I know she was a big fan of Supernatural and the show. And
who isn't?
Yeah, right. And Chad was on that show, and you know, again, we say it's all because of Chad Lindbergh, because if it weren't for him and the group that he had and the awesome women in the group, we never would have met each other. So, you know, she had her own team. She and Shannon had Badass Bitches Paranormal, and they did a lot of stuff on their own. And I had Whistling Pines Paranormal, and I worked a lot with Ashley on that.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
And so, you know, that's kind of where Girls versus Ghosts, the name came from, is we just thought about bringing female paranormal investigators together, you know, from different groups under one name. But, you know, they still had their own groups. So she's been doing this a long time.
And that's okay. Yeah, it's interesting how people are drawn together that need to join up, and just the connections that are made. And yeah. I think about that every once in a while, you know, the people that I've met just in the last few years, and the connections and the friendships that I've built with people. I mean, literally, you guys are out on the East Coast, and Jen B's out on the West Coast, and Mel's up in Canada, and Heather's down in Texas. I mean, it's just kind of like there's people, well, and Craig's in Australia, and it's crazy to think that you build these friendships with people, and it's good people. There's so many good people who are in this field.
Yeah, there are. There really are. And the more I meet, the more I just fall in love with every single one of them in a different way. And people who always want to work with you, you know, and cross collaborate on things and projects. And then there's the funny banter side too, right?
Well, yeah, right. And it's so fun to have. I think that's one of the things I like most about the podcast is getting the people on and getting to really just see what their personalities are. Yeah. Last week when we had Ken on here, oh my God, we were just dying laughing. He is so funny.
Is he not the funniest person you know?
He is crazy, crazy funny. So.
He really is, but intelligent. He's so smart, and he's so smart funny too. You know, there's people who are really smart funny, and he's smart funny. He's very, very quick-witted.
Well, and anybody who didn't listen last week, go back and listen to it, because his voice alone is worth listening to it. So.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go into that. We had a big night on Vidi, and I wasn't able to tune in, but I'll have to go back and listen, because I love to listen to anything he's on. And Tarot Date is coming back to Vidi.
Yes, it is. He was talking a little bit about season 2 coming out. So you have, because, you know, you're not busy or anything.
No,
so
not
you
at
also,
all.
No. you also play a role with Viddy besides the Girls versus Ghost as well. So that's a pretty awesome thing that you do. That's actually how I first got to know you, and then went to Girls versus Ghosts and went to Charlotte and Beth. So I don't know how you keep up with it all. How do you ever sleep?
I don't know. I mean, I do, and when I do, I sleep very sound. I sleep very soundly, and then I just wake up
and go because you have to.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is, and you know how it is being a mom. You know, when you have responsibility for other people and other people's well-being, that solely lies on your shoulders, especially being a single mom. You know, it's rough, it's hard, but it's also amazing at the same time,
Right.
I wake up every morning and I go over my list of things that I have to do. And the first thing that I think of when I wake up is my kids, and, making sure that they have what they need. And I will work as hard as I have to make sure that that they're well provided for. And it's just one of those things, you just do it, you just do it.
How many children do you have?
I have 2.
Can I ask how old they are?
Oh, I see your cat.
There is a cat that just raised out of the wall behind you.
Like a Jack in the Box. He was like, I wish you guys could have seen that. I didn't even think he was there.
And it just floated up.
Yeah, he just floated up and gave a big stretch like, oh, God.
He's bigger than my dog.
So, oh, my God, what an adorable cat. My kids
Sorry, we totally got distracted.
Yeah.
Nothing new on this show.
I just want to kiss that cat. My kids are 14 and 16.
Oh, nice ages. Nice.
Yeah.
Are they into the paranormal?
My daughter's incredibly intuitive, and she has abilities, and, I don't know if she fully understands that she knows her abilities, but she started doing readings for people. Her friends, and I listened to them. I sit there and I listen to her, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And I'm like, do you want to give me a reading? She goes, no. What if I mess something up? I'm like, I'm not gonna. No, I don't do readings.
So did she inherit that from you?
I don't know. Maybe it just runs in the family in general. But she's, I used to do readings many, 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 many years ago. But I just, I kind of stopped doing that, and I don't know why. It wasn't anything intentional. It's just maybe I didn't have a lot of extra time. You
would have to give up your sleep now to do the readings again, if you want to.
Yeah. It was really, really cool to see that she kind of arrived at that on her own, and she got her own deck. She ordered her own deck of cards.
Oh, wow.
Off Amazon, with a gift card. And I was like, wow. My son is incredible.
Her calling.
Yeah. My son is incredibly sensitive. He's a Cancer, right? So he's emotional and sensitive anyway. And, but he's very grounded at the same time. So he's very open to some theories that I don't even understand, about the universe and the world around us and how it all works and fits together. And I don't know. I just feel very lucky. They're both really cool kids. And if I wasn't their mom, then I would still like them.
That says a lot. When you can say that about you can say that about your own kids and really mean it. No, seriously. I know it sounds like it's being funny, but yeah.
No, but I do get that because, you know, I mean, it's odd, but my mom is my best friend and not everybody understands that. But my daughter is getting to be one of my best friends too. And there was a point where I did not think that was going to happen because we really didn't like each other. So
yeah. Yes. And boy, that struggle is real.
Ain't it though?
I've never had with my youngest daughter, my older daughter's off at college. My youngest is 17 and that's the girl. And she's home. We've never had that struggle. And it's close to a best friend, but not quite, because you still have to be the parent role. But
right. Well,
we're
you still have to be
close.
the parent.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the problem with my daughter and I is we're too similar, and so we both want to be the alpha, and I have to remind her who made her be the way she is, and that she will lose.
Just pretend once in a while, like I do.
On occasion.
You know?
On occasion.
I let her pretend sometimes. I mean, Kate started off being the co-host on the show, helping me out when I first switched to my own network, to my own show, actually. I think it was on the old network. She started helping me. And she co-hosts sometimes and pops in on other shows now. And so, you know, she's a good kid. So I feel that daughter-mother thing that you're talking about, it's so hard to explain if you don't. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at chat. Yeah. I'm not laughing at you guys. You guys can see me laughing, but.
Yeah, Mom and I go through this all the time. Which one of us is the alpha?
I'm laughing at Mama Pat because she's saying, for anybody that's not in chat, Kelly's mother's saying, just as I have to remind Kelly.
And just like you said, I have to let her believe it on occasion.
Yeah. You know?
So you mentioned that your daughter has some abilities, and so that made me wonder, when you go out and do investigations, do you typically have people along with you that have abilities, like a psychic or a medium?
Well, if I go investigating with Beth, you know, she's a psychic medium. She doesn't advertise it a lot, and she's still not comfortable saying it sometimes, but she is. And
it's uncomfortable to put the label on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, you know how it is when you first come out of the psychic closet, right?
Yep.
And so she's great to investigate with. It depends. It depends on the group. And I like to go and investigate with a lot of different groups, you know. I went to Savannah, and I had the chance to investigate with the girls from, or the ladies from Girls or Ghosts versus Gadgets, or Gadgets versus Ghosts. I always get it mixed up because we're Girls versus Ghosts, and it kind of all gets jumbled in my ADD mind. But they were awesome. And I don't know if you've ever seen, they do live broadcasts on Periscope, and they always wear purple. That's like their signature color. But they had a medium, Clara, with them, and she was really very fun to work with. She's very sensitive. And then, of course, Linda and her sister, I believe I'm going to mess it up. It starts with an M. Marie? I can't remember. She's going to kill me. But they have abilities as well. So it was like every single, and then their daughters had abilities, and so it's like everybody there had. It was really a good investigation. It was very cool. And then when I investigated with you, Kelly, we didn't really investigate. You know, we kind of. What did we do? We kind of snooped.
We kind of investigated there towards the end of the night. I would call that investigating. But yeah,
it's like snooping when it's like halfway an investigation, but it's not like a snoop.
We're perusing.
Yes. And I had never been with a medium like you that actually. What was really cool about it was you had conversations out loud with spirits, and normally the mediums that I go along with or have been around, they always have the dialogue internally. So it was really cool to watch you work and to see you interact in a complete and total conversation with these spirits, and then be able to, you're telling them who I am and not to be afraid. And you're like, he likes you. Wasn't intrigued by me, but he was curious or something.
Yeah.
And the shadow man at the end of the hall. Because when I first walked down there, it was like walking into a wall. His energy is so strong, and it just leans on you. It doesn't push you. It didn't or he didn't lean or push or shove me, but it was like there was a massive pressure just
like walking through sludge.
Slowly pushing you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was it. And, you're talking to him and I was like, I'll hold out my hand. And she's like interpreting, walking me through what's happening with him. And I could feel it. Like everything she was saying, she's like, he's going to touch your hand now. You can go ahead. I remember she was like, go ahead. You can touch her. In a Kelly way.
As an investigator, I've described it on air before, what this feels like, but can you describe what that felt like when you felt it on your hand? I love asking people that say they have physically felt things, because most of the time it's almost the same answer. So not always, but can you put words to it?
Can I put words to what it felt like?
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is spider web, right?
Yes.
It's like that game when you were like young and you would like make a fist.
Sewing. Yeah. The sewing thing.
Yeah. That's kind of what it is. But, and that's what it started off as. But now I can feel it more of a targeted, the more that I've done it and the more that I've worked with energy, I'm a Reiki master too. So, I have learned a lot about channeling energy and funneling energy and moving with energy and in between it and around it. And after doing a lot of energy work and a lot of meditation, it's a different feel now. It's almost like it's very warm in the center, and the degree of heat dissipates as it, as the field of it gets larger. It's kind of, I don't know how to describe it. I'm terrible at describing these things.
No, that's why I like asking that question, because you can see, I don't know how to explain this, but when you're looking at somebody and they're describing feeling something physical, there's this look on their face, and you just know they're like replaying it in their head.
Yeah.
It's like a mixture of spider webs, but static electricity. It was like this. Yeah, it was that really, really weird feeling.
Yeah, and I do
feel that, Kelly, as a psychic medium, or is it more?
If I'm doing the actual Reiki, I can sometimes feel the heat either coming out of my hands or can almost like feel the heat coming off of the person where it wasn't there before. Okay. But just talking to them, it doesn't usually, unless they get really close to me with their energy, it doesn't usually affect me too awful much. If they get too close, or if I'm ever not sure if it's a spirit or if it's something else that I'm picking up, then I will get almost the electric buzz goosebump thing.
Yeah.
But that's almost like their way of confirming for me, because I'm like, well, I think there's a spirit in the room, and then the whole goosebumps are hair standing up, and it's like, okay, yep, okay.
We on one of our investigations, the reason why I can describe it so well is because I'll never forget it. I would describe what I was feeling, and I'm like, now they're okay, I can feel it on my fingers, I can feel it on my hand, up my wrist, and at the same time, my sister's standing across with the, I always say it wrong, the RSL camera, our camera.
SLS.
Thank you. I was called the restless. I always say the restless leg syndrome thing. Yes. Always.
That'd be an awesome camera.
Yeah,
yes, the SLS. Thank you. I always do it, and now I do it so much it's a habit. So, and actually, they're recording this, and as I'm saying, I can feel it on my fingers, and you can see it going up my arm, reaching up. I know you can laugh. I've been doing this for a year now. I always say the restless leg syndrome thing, and I should just say RCAM, but connect something. I should use anything but that. But yeah, so
it's all good.
Yeah,
it's just cracking me up as I'm picturing little stick figures with their legs floating.
I know.
Hey,
Oh, sorry, I lost it.
Hey, jokers, I laugh at myself, and I knew. I even said I always say it wrong. I knew I was going to say it wrong, and I instantly. said it wrong.
Yeah.
There was a couple questions I missed. The chat's going kind of quick now because now I'm laughing at myself. Sorry, guys. If you had a question, please repeat it. I think Wolf had a question, but I forget what it was.
Wolf had a
They're laughing
It'll be
at me.
interesting to see, Sharla, next time we go to Malvern Manor if Shadow Guy remembers you, because I know that each time I go, he remembers me a little quicker. So it'll be interesting to see how he remembers you next time.
It's so cool. It's so cool to do that with you, and for you have the ability to interpret these things, and it's really neat.
Well, it was the only way I was able to build that trust with him, I think. So, to be able to hear his side of the story, which made a huge difference. Because once he told me what had happened or showed me what happened, then I had a whole different approach to him. So, anyway.
It does change everything.
Yeah.
And I found that with a lot of places, actually. When people will talk about the evil, demonic, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's really just somebody that, had something really crappy happen to them. And they don't mean to be that way. That's just the energy that's left behind from that event and what occurred to them or I don't know. It's just one of those things.
Yeah. And
question.
Would you like us to ask Wolf's question?
Sure.
You know where he got that from? From Peggy Gypsy.
That came from Peggy because she was horrible and she asked us that question and made us answer.
Wow.
So if you're ever talking to Peggy, you have to ask her and make her answer.
And it's a non-sexual crush. It does not mean.
Okay.
So it could be girl, guy, in between, anything you want.
Okay. So my guy crush would probably have to be Sean Austin.
Oh.
And my girl crush would probably have to be, it would be weird to say Elizabeth because she's my boss. So, gosh, there's so many.
It's hard to pick just one, huh?
It really is. I mean, there's so many amazing women in this field now. I got to think about that one. I'll give you that before we go.
You answered that a hell of a lot quicker than us put together.
Oh, I love watching Sean. I love his energy. I love the way he works with spirits. And, of course, I'm probably way older than he is. So it's okay for me to say that when you're older.
It's all right. It's all good. All good.
But I mean, who doesn't have a crush on Sean Austin?
So what have been some of your most favorite places to investigate?
My parents' backyard. I grew up on a farm in Brooks, Georgia, off the McIntosh Trail, which was heavily used trading route for the Creek natives of that area. And it was very rich in energy, and I had a lot of experiences there. And I still, to this day, I'll go feed the horses. And feathers is a big thing for me. I collect them, and I see them all the time. And, one of my great-grandmothers used to say, when feathers appear, angels are near. And my dad always collected feathers. Being on a farm, you have owls, you have hawks, and now in that area they have eagles. They've returned there. Osprey, all kinds of doves. And so each one of the feathers that I find usually leads me down another path of discovery for something else. And it always shocks me too when I find out what it is, but at this point it shouldn't shock me anymore, but it always does. But you know how when you get some sort of validation, it's just very personal and real, and your heart just explodes with love and happiness and joy and gratitude. And that's where one of my happiest investigation places are. There's a lot of spirits that walk that land, and they come and they visit when I'm there. Another place would have to be, I'll always say Randolph, because that was the first place I was ever put into isolation while people watched. in an environment like that in the basement by myself across from the morgue. That was
it's always fun when it's your first investigation. Here, you're brand new to this. Let me stick you in this dark, scary room all by yourself. And by the way, the morgue's across the hall.
Yeah. That was intense. Thanks a lot, Chad and Ernie. Of course, we made Beth go first.
Well, yeah.
But
as long as she came out, you were safe, right?
Yeah, that's right. But I have a lot of fondness for that place, and I really like the Rhodes Hotel in Atlanta, Indiana. Mike Couch runs that now, and
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he does. With Lost Limbs Foundation. If you guys haven't checked that out, check out Mike Couch with Lost Limbs Foundation. He does some amazing work for kids and helping them get prosthetics. So that's a cool place too. And there's just so many cool places, but a lot of my places are outside, and they're not really like what most people think of as paranormal investigation sites. You know, they're areas outside where things happened or where people congregated, or I'm very in tune with nature.
I was going to say you're more nature-based, which is completely understandable. So,
I like the lesser known.
So, what places have you not been to that you'd still like to get to?
Stonehenge,
Good one. Yeah.
the pyramids of Giza.
Yes.
Sizergh Castle in England, the UK. In the States, oh, well, a lot of battlefields that I want to go to, but I'll be going to those soon. Nice. Kelly and I exchanged a laugh and a giggle and a look.
I would say, well, we have a question. Does that help?
Yes.
Yes. Go.
I'm let's see. The other Sherry Ann in chat, which she spells it with a Y, but I still love her name, I have to say.
We'll say it again. What's your name, Cher?
I can say Sherry Ann. I can't say my first and last name together. I can say Sherry Ann, but I can't. Yeah. She wants to know if. Thanks, Kel. It's the Mass accent mixed with the New Hampshire accent. I can't say my full name. That's why I can say Shea Carol, but I can't say the Sherry Ann with the Carol.
It's adorable.
I know. She wants to know if somebody's interested in. I'm going to read it both ways here. If somebody's interested in getting an interview with somebody on your network or getting a show on your network, how would they contact you? How would they go about?
Just email me, Sharla at Girls vs. Ghosts. They can send me an email and we can talk.
There you go, Sherry Ann. I wasn't sure which way she meant it, if she meant show-wise or interview-wise, so I figured I'd ask it both ways.
Either way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cynthia, what? Save me. I want to go home. Oh, Cynthia's working right now.
She listens to podcasts when she's at work. It's got to pass the time faster. It has
to.
That's what I do when I'm cleaning. I listen to podcasts.
Cynthia, just hang in there, girlfriend. Hang in there. Not much longer to go. Or maybe there is, but just pretend
it's
like
it's probably extra hard for her to be at work right now, though, because when she gets off work, she gets to pack up and prepare for an investigation tomorrow. So, she probably is double itching to get out of work.
Yes. Yeah, I know that feeling sometimes. Like itching to get off a plane and get home.
You spend a lot of time on planes, man.
Yeah,
I do. I really do.
I've never even seen a plane.
Well,
really?
Yeah. I've seen the little tiny one. Yeah, I've seen the little tiny ones, but I've never seen. The closest I ever came to see in an airport is when I got lost in Boston and I kept ending up in the parking lot.
There's a story there, I know.
Yeah. Huh. It was funny because, so I have to share a story, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the show. But
it's about time we brought one of those in.
Right?
Story time with Kelly.
I work for a company that builds airplanes. That's what they do, commercial and government planes. And I've worked there for 9 years, and I took a job a little over 5 years into my career there. And we got to the point that I had to travel for the first time. And I went in and I was talking to my boss, and she's like, yeah, we're going to fly you out to Pennsylvania is where I was going. And I'm like, oh. And she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, okay, well, now's probably the time I need to fess up to you that I have never been on a plane, and I am terrified of flying. Terrified. She's like, you work for an airplane company, Kelly. You know this, right? I'm like, I know. She's like, you'll be on planes that we built. I'm like, I know. It was horrible. I white knuckled the entire flight. It was.
Oh, no.
Once I'm in the air, I'm good. It's taking off and landing that just terrifies me. And I know I'm going to be fine. I know I will in my brain. I know, but man. And it was so funny because so I get on the plane and I find my seat, and it's just it's not one of the big ones. I took off from here in Cedar Rapids. And lo and behold, who comes and sits beside me but one of our subcontract managers. So somebody I know has to sit next to me and watch me panic. And it was funny because he's kind of a growly guy. Most people are he's very to the point. He's not very nurturing.
Yeah.
He was so good. He was so
Really?
nice to me. And he's like, okay, so this is what's going to happen next. And he'd be like, you're going to hear a thump. That's the wing dropping down. And I'm like, that was exactly what I needed. So it was funny, but yes, I work for an airplane company. Yes, we build all those planes. Yes, I'm terrified of them.
Isn't that funny?
You guys shouldn't be. They're perfectly safe. I promise they're perfectly safe. I don't like flying.
Yeah.
But,
well, it's that whole off the ground thing, you know?
It's the 30,000 feet thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, yeah. I mean, I'll jump, like Chris does. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Our little bouncing REM pod. Anyways, all right, we'll focus back on the show. All you, Shea. Go ahead.
I'm still trying to read where Ron's from. Saskatchewan. What?
Canada.
I might need my glasses. Saskatchewan. Thank you. I was just I did grab my glasses.
Ron, if I butchered that, yeah, let me know. Oh, you really meant Brian is
Iowa. Charlotte's in Georgia. I'm in New Hampshire. New Hampshire. There's the mass in me. Yeah, that's the mass. New Hampshire.
I was totally hearing it. That was awesome. When you said we had luck of the Irish, I guess I didn't really realize that Brian is in Ireland. That's really cool.
Yeah. I'd be funny. Yeah, now I'm Jamaican. I'd be funny.
Fun. So Brian, can you hook us up with some castles? Because it sounds like Sharla wants to go to a castle, and I would love to get into a castle. And Ireland is a place I've always wanted to go. So can you hook some girls up?
Leap or Leap?
Yeah.
How do you say? Is it Leap Castle? Is that
Lep?
I think it's
Lep Castle.
That's in Ireland, isn't it?
I don't know. Sharla, do you know?
I don't know. I don't know.
Kilkenny Castle's in Ireland. I know that. That one would be good. But okay, you ask her a question, Shea. I'm going to scroll back through and see what we got here.
I have a question because it's you, it's Beth, and then towards the end of the show, you have another third little buddy that shows up and asks questions.
Yes, he does.
I forget his name though. I can't remember his name.
His name is Ghost Bob. Yes.
How did that start?
Ghost Bob made an appearance on the show for the first time in our episode with Johnny Hauser when he was live from Malvern Manor. So we did a a pre-recorded, well, it was actually pre-recorded. We did a pre-recorded show with Johnny Hauser when he was on VidiSpace on Johnny Hauser Versus. And it was, it was their final night at Malvern Manor. And so right after, like before the investigation and after the investigation, we recorded with him. And we brought him in through Skype. And so it was really cool to then have the video clips associated with it and kind of stitch it together and put it together and make a show out of it. And Ghost Bob made an appearance. We were just playing around, and Beth grabbed Ghost Bob, and the voice came through that she channeled, and then ever since then, Ghost Bob became a thing. At least that's the first time I remember him being on. That's the first time I remember. She might have a different story, but she has a better memory than I do. So, but that's the first time I truly remember him being on.
The first time I saw it, I'm like, what is going on? What? What? And then I was like, oh, wait, I see it. Because sometimes I listen and I'm like walking around. I'm like, what's going on? And I had to come and look. And if anybody doesn't know what she's talking about, you have to check her out. Check them out. I shouldn't say her.
You can check her out too. She's kind of pretty.
Yeah. No, the older I get, the less checked out I become.
Whatever.
It's not necessarily a bad thing as we get older. We're not like,
I purposefully drive by construction sites now.
When we were younger, we're like, what are you whistling at? Now we're like, why aren't you whistling?
Yeah, that's right.
Whistle at me, please.
I'm going to go real slow by the construction site.
Funny.
Yeah. Let's see. Did we miss any questions?
I don't think so.
I
think we're good.
Either. There's castle. They're still talking about castles, and I was right at Lep. It is Lep Castle. It is in Ireland. So, thank you, Mama Pat, for that.
She's an encyclopedia. I tell you, I will bring up the most random things, and she can just spout off information about it. It's like
if I'm a guest on a show, my sister, I have to tell her the time because my memory, and she'll be. I'll be like, let me think about this for a second because where's my memory? And now I call her my memory because I have so much useless information in my head. I can't recall dates and, states and which investigation. I'm like, oh, hell. Yeah. It's hard.
I'm feeling you on that, man. I can remember the moment. I can remember the people. I can remember the feeling. But, and I'll say something like, oh, yeah, that was last week, but it was like 6 months ago. So my concept of time is just
I think the less we sleep, the more the time concept it no longer exists. It's like all... I'm like... I have to mess it. Wait, what is today? What day is today? My daughter. Yeah. I'm like, what, She's like, it's the 17th. I'm like, no, is it like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? What is it?
Oh, can I tell you a funny story real quick?
Of course. We love funny stories.
My mom was watching my nephew the other day, my two nephews and my niece. And Henry is 4. And she said to him, they were talking about something, and she said, oh, what day is it? I think she asked my dad, what day is it? And Henry said to her, how does anybody not know what day it is? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's right. When I was young, I always knew what day it was.
Yeah.
I always knew what day it was, but somehow between or after 35,
it goes downhill from there.
It's because we're purposely trying to block our days out of our memory so we don't have to remember how many days we've worked. And
I think so.
This morning I slept from 6 to 9 a.m. The day before that I slept from something crazy 8 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. and then I was up until I went to bed this morning. So my days are
yeah.
I'm like, wow, I don't know.
You're sleeping like a newborn. Hey, that means you're young because you're sleeping like a newborn.
All right, I like that. I'm going to go with that just because.
Yeah. We were talking about that just today. I went to lunch with my mom, and I was telling her, if I ever don't have my muggle job, I will become a vampire. I will stay up all night, and I'll sleep during the morning, and yeah, that's when I am most functional, is like from 10 p.m. till about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Me too, and that is just so unfortunate because the rest of the world is not like that, and
right,
it's hard, when you're like
I have things to do and people to call, and they just don't understand when I call them at 3 o'clock in the morning.
They don't.
Or, well, if you investigate all night and then you have to still do your stuff at 7, 8 a.m. in the morning, it throws everything off, and you sleep when you can. There's like no.
I've done that before, though. I went, the very first time I went to Edinburgh Manor, I don't even remember
wouldn't
who
sleep after Edinburgh Manor either, but that's me. But go ahead.
I'm trying to think who I was even out there with, but I said, I'll go out just for a couple hours, but then I've got to go home and sleep because I had a psychic fair the next day in Mason City, so I had to drive like hours to get there and leave super early in the morning. So I said, I'm just going to stay for a couple hours. I left there in enough time to come home, shower, get back in the car, and drive. Read for people all day long, and man, I crashed that night hard. Like, hard.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. It's not fun, but it's worth it.
It was still fun. It was, and I did really good.
I mean, sleeping is not fun. The rest, the rest makes up for it.
Yeah, it's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. I was going to say, what's your best experience? But I think you've kind of already answered that one too. What was your scariest, like most intense experience?
Old South Pittsburgh Hospital.
That was quick.
Yeah,
what happened?
That's the only truly negative evil energy that I felt like I've ever had to work to fend off. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Wow.
Sometimes sometimes if I go into those places, I imagine myself almost like a human bug zapper, for negative energy. and you kind of put that little shield around you. And it usually things like that, you can say, well, that wasn't very nice, or, you can't do that, or you can't say that, or you can just completely ignore it and it'll eventually go away. This place was not like that. This place was intense. It is probably, in my opinion, one of the most evil places on earth. And I always consider the positive when I see the negative. And this place, there's something underlying that is so sinister and so aggressive. It's probably the most intense, quote unquote, evil I've ever come in contact with. And it will pursue you. It will pursue you when you leave. It will pursue you if you were ever back within close proximity of it. It's next level evil. I mean,
what was this place?
Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. It was, at one point in time, it was native lands, and it was native burial ground that was desecrated by construction. And I believe there was a fire there, and there were deaths in the fire. So you had native burial ground, you had fire death, and then you had a building built on top of that. And some people say the land is cursed. Right behind it is a big mountain. So, and then on the other side is a river. So you have a lot of elements that come into play there, and a lot of energy anyway that kind of bounces off. And the person who took care of the maintenance guy who lived in the basement was a convicted child molester. It's verified, and it was a hospital, like a true hospital. There was an aging adult wing. There was, like assisted living. There was a full trauma center there. There was also, a maternity ward. So in my opinion, it's almost like there was, and I think this is true for any place that's like a hospital or, a funeral home, or there's a lot of energy that's coming and going in a lot of times. In this particular place, especially where you have births and deaths occurring almost simultaneously, there's a passing from the earth. There's a passing to the earth. That alone creates a recipe for a lot of energy. But add the trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma. And then also there were some rituals that were performed there in the basement. I mean, they destroyed the property doing it. And somebody opened a portal there. I would say it's the only time I would ever truly say that I've experienced a negative portal. And it's
a place.
Layer of it's already an Indian burial ground, but then you add the emotion,
right?
The physical trauma, the mental trauma, the deaths, the rituals. It's like a hotbed for creating.
And it was interesting. Yeah. And it was interesting to watch you even talk about it, Sharla. And I know you guys can't see her for everybody who's listening and chatter afterwards, but her energy as she talked about it, her demeanor changed as she was talking about it. You could tell even now it was almost like kind of affecting her still. Yes, it was kind of weird.
I drove by there and I was on the phone with Beth and I was on my way to Indianapolis and I had to go by there outside of Chattanooga to get, to where I was going. And I think you can feel it. You can feel it as you're driving up there. And I was on the phone with Beth, and all of a sudden, this big white sheet of something comes flying off of this van, and I go to dodge it, and it was like, thump, thump. And Beth's like, what was that? And I said, I have no idea. I said, I need to pull over and check my car and see if it did any damage underneath. Guess what the next exit was?
Yeah.
Hospital.
Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. So it taunts you. It stays with you, and it you don't forget it.
I think there's places like that. There's so much residual energy that it just stays with you. When you were talking about it, you said something about a fire. It reminded me, and I can't even tell you where it was, but I remember going as a little girl that there's a place where, I don't know if it was a small town or a village. I don't even remember the details for sure, but there was a fire and they couldn't get away from it. And they were doing everything they could to try to protect themselves from the fire, from covering themselves up in wet blankets and jumping into the well and all sorts of things to try to not die. And they still all died, and even as a little girl, before I knew all of what I am and what I can do, it was ridiculously uncomfortable. And I don't know that we've been there ever more than once. Pat could probably tell me, but I remember it still. I remember how uncomfortable it was, and I didn't want to be there. She says it's Williamsonville in Door County. That's in Door County. Mm. Well, I didn't know that. It's like a little park now, and I think the only thing that's still, they've got like where the well was marked, but yeah, I don't know that I've been there more than once, but that has stuck in my memory since I was a little girl. Mm. It was uncomfortable. Yeah.
It's amazing how that stays with you. And, there's something at that place that wants your soul. It's the only time I've experienced something that wants more than just to affect you. It wants your freaking soul.
This is where I know I'm a screwed up paranormal investigator, because now I'm like, where is this again? I want to go. How do we get in there? And I know that sounds so screwed up, but...
Well, I mean, the night we were there was a girl that had a seizure. Roxy had a seizure. She was so affected by the energy. Jen had a full-out panic attack. I've never seen somebody's face turn as white as hers. I mean, this thing came after her. It came after her. And there was another girl on an investigation at a later date where Beth was at that had to be taken away in an ambulance and put on a heart monitor. Wow. It would eat your soul out of your body.
You said that it torments you after you leave. Has it followed you? Or just the feelings? It stays with you?
That's why it's so different than a human spirit. Because human spirit, if they follow you, you can be like, I'm so sorry, but this is my space and you're gonna have to stay there, and I'll come out and see you and we can hang out sometime, but this is my safe space, bye, and they're gone. But this was not a human spirit attachment. It was not an animal spirit attachment, and it's not elemental. It's something that is different. It is the things you read about. It is the next level spirit that you read about in the Kabbalah. It's the one you read about in the Old Testament. It is ancient, and it wants your soul, man. That's the only way I can say it.
Would you say it was a demon? You haven't used that word, but is it the closest thing you would?
I think that it is worse than a demon, because demons are not intelligent. Demons have a job, and they are programmed to do their job. This thing is beyond a demon.
Wow.
It's so weird.
If not Satan himself. And I say that, I know that sounds totally wackadoodle crazy, but Kelly, I think, knows me well enough to know I would not say that if I didn't feel that that's truly bloody.
When a paranormal investigator says, I know how crazy this is going to sound, but, it perks people's ears up, then you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Pay attention. Yep.
And mark my words, some of you listening to this broadcast will have dreams about it. Some of you will wake up with a feeling, or you'll experience something, and some of you already know that it's already there. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. All right. Hold on, woosah.
Right? I know a good medium we can contact if we need any help, listeners.
I'm like reaching for my crystals.
I thought you were looking behind you for the good medium. You're like, it was perfect timing, Kelly. You're like,
that I was looking behind me for who the good medium is.
All right.
Kat said, well, thanks for that, Sharla. Because we love having nightmares. I'm sure that's where she's going. So, no,
I'm sorry. It's like, put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, but too many people make it sound. I'm going to be very careful how I word this. Too many people make it sound like you run into demons and all this all the time, and it's so fun and it's a great fit. It's not common. It's not fun. It's not safe. So people need to know that there's true danger in this. You never know what you're walking into.
And I think that's what adds validity to what she's saying, is because, like she said, I do know Sharla, and I do know. I mean, I've worked with her and I've talked to her enough to know that she's not one of these I see something in everything people. She's pretty damn logical, and I've never heard her talk about demons before. So I mean, she's not one of these there's demons everywhere things. So if she's going to go that far to say there's something evil there, and I can feel her energy shift.
I can.
there's something to that, definitely.
Mhm.
Because your whole energy just shifted when you started talking about that. So
Still is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still is. On that note, where do we go from here? We've been on for an hour and a half now.
Oh my gosh, it goes so fast.
It does. This went by really quick. Where can people find you? Let's.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what fun, exciting things? Where are you gonna be? Where can people see you?
I'm going to be at HauntCon in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yay!
And that is March.
Is that my paranormal crush? Is
23rd? Yes.
Who we're talking about there?
That would be your paranormal crush, who's kind of
everybody
helping
knows
with that
now, so might as well,
Okay, wait, I don't know. You have to tell me.
I can tell you, she's her paranormal crush is the REM pod.
Yeah,
That's not that. I need more.
You know what? That isn't going to make sense to you. You hadn't arrived yet, so you go ahead and tell her why, and then I'll tell her why we're calling him a REM pod.
Well, I like. Yeah, Peggy called us out on it, and we had to pick somebody. And but it wasn't the first time I said it on air. He knows, but it's not in a sexual way. Like I said, if he was a woman, it'd be the same thing. I just respect him. Chris Case. I just respect him, what he does, how he does things, his editing skill, just all around. I think he's a nice guy, and so as soon as you said the Omaha.
So the reason I'm calling him a REM pod, Charlotte, do you remember the sweater he was wearing that night? How it lit up and blinked and stuff?
The human REM pod. That's right.
Yeah. So we were sitting there ahead of time, and I'll tell the story because not everybody else knows it. But we had a Viddy Space holiday party, and Chris Case was there, and he had this holiday sweater on, and it blinked different colors, like green and red and everything. Every time that he moved, it would set off the sweater. And Josh Hurd's wife was sitting there, and I could see her just kind of staring at him, and her wheels were turning. And all of a sudden, she interrupts everybody. She says, "Oh my God, you're a REM pod." And so, yeah, he is forever going to be the REM pod. So, yeah.
Now that we totally interrupted you and went way off course with that.
Oh, no.
It's what we're best known for,
No,
at
I
least
love
me.
It's organic. It's natural that way, right?
That's what I tell myself after every show.
It's all okay. It's all okay.
Because I like it when things are natural. Right? I'm a little crunchy. I got a little hippie in me.
Yeah, see.
I like.
That's why this was so easy.
I love to go with the flow.
Yeah. Okay, so there we go.
So HauntCon, March 23rd. That's where we were.
That's it.
That's okay.
That's your next stop. That's where you're going.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of cool things coming up, and a lot of things that she's working on.
Yeah, we have to patiently wait for the announcements, I'm sure.
Yeah, I gotta. Yes, it's. I will say this though. I am.
Did we lose her? We might have lost her.
Oh.
She might call back.
Right. We'll try it. So watching through chat, Ron, I saw you're saying, Sharla, I don't know the name of your guest. Switch that, sweetie. So this is Shea's Paranormal Chat. And so Shea is the host. I'm the co-host, Kelly McCarville. Sharla was actually our wonderful guest this time. So I know we're switching roles here. Normally Sharla's the one asking the questions. So.
I know. Thank you, Matt. Good night, Matt. I'll talk to you later. Matt Waddell, the awesome co-owner of Paranormal Buzz. So, in case you I was going to
say I can do some of the how to find Sharla if she doesn't get back online. So, Sharla Hardin, Girls vs. Ghost Media. They're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all under Girls vs. Ghost Media. And the podcast and everything that's under the Girls vs. Ghosts Network is on Blog Talk Radio. So you can go in and listen to all the different shows that have been recorded in the past and hear all the replay those at any time. And then there's live shows Mondays, Wednesdays, Sundays, I think. Don't hold me to that's where I need Sharla.
There's something on Tuesday? Stephanie and Gina are on Mondays. I thought something
Gina
was on
Monday.
You're on
I don't
Wednesday.
remember.
No, maybe
sure.
I watched Viddy Space on Tuesday. Sorry.
Well, Mike Ricksecker on Tuesdays. Kelly Steffens on Tuesdays. I don't know. I get them all confused. I need a schedule.
What show am I watching? That's how I know what day it is.
I don't know, right? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Sundays. Woohoo! Look at me go. I was right. But yeah, they're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Girls vs. Ghosts Media. And if you have any trouble finding them, go ahead and feel free to reach out to me. This is Kelly talking, in case anybody didn't know. And I can send you links to find all of them. So awesome, cool stuff. She also, like she said, is on Viddy.space, the Haunted.space. She does a lot of the work for them, and they have a podcast out there. So, yeah. Hey, she's back.
I start talking about that place, and things happen.
It's crazy.
Well, I think I got everything, but I don't know if you were still able to hear us or not, but I think I plugged everything for you.
Yes, you did. You're awesome.
Anything else you want to add? Did we cover everything? It went by so quick. I feel like it wasn't enough time.
No, it never is.
It never.
You have some amazing viewers, by the way. You guys are awesome in the chat.
They are.
Chat is so
questions. Wolf, Brian, Sherry-Ann,
Here we go.
Matt.
Keep going. These are we do a nightly shout out at the end too, so you might as well keep going.
Oh yeah, Mama Pat.
Mama Pat.
Network. Kim Purvis. Ron from Canada. Who else? Brian from Ireland. I think
luck of the Irish.
We got Luna and Wolf and Aaron from KPRS. Miss Jen B.
Jen B.
Mallory was in for a little bit, and then she had to go.
I love Mallory, but she's my daughter, so I have to.
You probably should. Yeah.
Actually, I don't have to. I choose to, but you know. This goes so far back. I think anybody we might have missed we got in the beginning, but
I'm trying to scroll through quick. But
yeah, you do that. I gotta look up. I gotta announce the new shows coming out. Because you know me.
Well, we had this Sharla Hardin gal was in there talking to us, so big thank you to Sharla.
I like her.
Kelly Steffens, Skydor Network.
Yep.
Shout out to Kelly and Shea.
Oh.
We have fun.
The mostest. You guys are awesome for having me on. Thanks for letting me come play.
The hostesses with the mostesses. Hey, you're welcome back anytime. I love having you.
Thank you.
I have another one of you girls coming on a couple times in March too.
Oh, who's that? Which one?
It's Gina.
Oh, you're gonna love. She's a hoot. You're gonna love Gina. And I know that's a very Southern thing to say. She's a hoot, but she is. She's
well, bless your soul.
Bless your soul.
Bless your soul. All right, let me get this out of the way here. You guys think if there's anything else you want to throw out by the time I'm done, because, you know, I have to do the fun stuff here. Next week on Shea's Paranormal Chat, we have Brittany Benjigurtis from B Squared Magic Mondays, which is every other Monday. She's going to be joining me, and Kelly might be here. Or she is going to be here. Yes, you will be
yes, next Friday I will be.
You will be.
Starting in March
is when we get.
Starting in March is when I get a little scattery. So the nights that I'm not here, guys, give Shea hell.
Don't tell them that. They will. They will.
I know, right? I mean, be really nice to her, or pick on her mercilessly.
That's no fun either. You got to somewhere in the middle. Be a little nice, give me a little hell, and I'm happy. Sunday, there's no show because, yet again, the Patriots are playing, so I am not going to be on air. There will be a pre-recorded show. Monday the 4th, we have B Squared Magic Monday. And Saturday, February 9th, we have Peggy Gypsy. We'll be back on air. Into the Abyss with Peggy Gypsy. She has Dave Spinks on. And then REP Paranormal and Friends starts. The premiere is Thursday, February 21st. And then March we have Origin starting with Benji and Matt. Oh, sorry, Matt. Oops, I forgot his name. Only lived with you for 10 years. I don't know how I could forget your name, but I think I did it all. I don't think I forgot anything for once. I was a little hesitant there because I forgot Matt's name, but I'm so used to saying Benji. What it was I'm so used to saying Benji and Brittany, their husband and wife, and they do their show together, that I just like Benji. No, it's Benji and Matt. So, all right. Hey, did we forget anything, ladies? Thank you. I really had a great time. You come back anytime you want. It was really great. Everybody loves you.
Oh, thank you guys. It was so much fun. And you guys are amazing. And
this was super fun having both my producers on here. So,
Hey, I didn't drop the F-bomb once tonight.
I know. We were so well behaved. Look at us go. We should get to take $1 out of the swear jar.
Ooh, yeah. That's good.
Yeah. Hey, there we go.
That's because the other boss ladies watch it. I had to behave.
Oh, wait, Matt's still listening. What? He's calling bullshit and what? That I forgot his name?
Yeah, you got called out.
Yeah,
Matt just drove that bus right over you.
Yeah. He put it in reverse. Yeah, back and forth. All right, ladies, hold on one second.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. We will see you Monday for B Squared, guys.
Love you, love you.
Bye.
For more information regarding what Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram.